welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. And today we have our first holiday release. So we're going to be talking about the Givenchy Holiday 2021 release. Now, if you've seen photos of this collection online on Instagram, you may have seen a loose powder, the Prisma Libre loose powder with like a lavender tone to it. Unfortunately, that powder is going to be exclusive to Japan. So that is not part of the Holiday 2021 collection for the other countries. So I hope that, is insanely popular there and they end up making that a shade that is released here because I really want that. But this holiday collection, even without that powder, does not disappoint. So this is the eyeshadow palette. Can you tell which one is my favorite shade? I have to say this one here, it's like a little bit of olive and brown and gold kind of all mixed together. It's stunning. It's the major shade on my eyelids today, which will be in the last look for today. And I do have several looks to show you. I've been using this collection, for the last 4 or 5 days now. So I filmed most of them, not all of the applications, but I do have, I think, 4 looks to share with you. So I have to say, first of all, this eyeshadow palette, if you've tried some of these 9-pan palettes before, I know there were a couple from like prior times that the formula was not so great. I've been talking to a few people and some of the ones that were like more monochromatic. I think there was like I know there was like a purple one and so forth. That formula is not the same. Okay. So it's a good formula. So anyway, we'll get into this in a second. We'll swatch that in a minute. But let me introduce the other items in the holiday collection. We have the Givenchy Prisma Libre highlighter. This is a limited edition, and this shade is 10 Organza Or. So you can see by looking at the sides, we have kind of this like bronzy gold shade and like a pearly pink. And those get mixed together. You could technically isolate the shades, decant it into your lid, and you have like the 4 quadrants. So you could decant it and separate it. I don't do that. That's way too much work. So the lid on this is a mirror, just like the Givenchy Prisma Libre blushes. And in one of the demos, I do have a comparison of those containers, so I'm not going to go over that right now. But we have gold trim on the outside. You've got your 4G logo. Now, this is 0.21 ounces or 4 sections of 1.5 grams each. And it's made in Italy. It has a 1-year expiration or lifespan here, and this retails for $46 US. It's really nice. If you've been curious about the loose powder blushes and whether or not you would like using something loose powder, I would recommend trying this since it's easily available in the US. This right now is at Saks. So Saks New York City got the exclusive for this collection. They had it first. That's where I ordered it. So my SA Amber, I will leave all of her information down below. She is a joy to work with. So definitely, feel free to DM her on Instagram. And if you're interested in ordering from her, did get a little free gift with the purchase. I'll share that in a second. But it is also now available on Saks.com. And this collection will be coming to other retailers later, but first, Saks has the exclusive. The other items in the collection are 2 lipsticks. Now, the one lipstick, the one I'm wearing on my lips, this is from the Le Rouge Deep Velvet collection, which those lipsticks typically come in this red velvet case. For the holidays, we have black velvet with gold trim. And this shade, number 37, Rouge Guerlain, this is not a limited edition shade. It's a limited edition packaging for one of their best-selling shades. So shade number 37 and 36 are their 2 top sellers. They're 2 like signature reds, and that is one of them. So, if you already have some of these, double check and see if you already have the shade. And then the other one is completely new limited edition lipstick, and this is the Copper Nude, and You can kind of see some of the sparkle in here. Now, the shimmer in this is not going to be very evident when you first put that lipstick on. You really see it more as as you wear the lipstick and those like more emollient coats kind of wear down and you're left with more of a stain, then you see a little bit of the sparkle. So for me, since I'm drinking from a water bottle all day, I end up getting more wear in the center of my lips. And I see a little bit more sparkle there, and it highlights that area so nicely. I still have a stain from the color, so it just makes my lips look really nice. Like it wears off very beautifully. So we're gonna swatch these in a second. I do have some lipstick comparisons today as well. We'll look at the eyeshadows as well. But first, let me share with you the free gifts. So with my purchase, I got this Givenchy bag, and you can see it. I actually have not opened this. So there's a full tag here. Inside, oh, it's a really cute print. It's like, it almost looks like, clover, but they're black. And then there were also some moisturizer samples, like a bunch of those. I already took those down to my bathroom. So my favorite part though is this. So I don't know if you can see the black on black, but it says Givenchy here. This is black velvet. You can see you've got some red trim. It's magnetic. It's a lipstick case. So you can put this in here. Fits perfectly. How nice is that? I like this case. So this came with the gift. Again, I ordered from Amber, and I will leave her information down below in the description box. So let's start off by going through the lipsticks. We're going to swatch these two lipsticks, and then I do have some comparison shades to look at. So I think we're going to start off with the Le Rouge Deep Velvet in 37 Rouge Grenet. And just so you know, these are 3.4 grams and they're made in France. So I'm going to put this one right here and let's build that up. Let me just, there. So you can see that this is going to be a cooler tone red. And when you buff it out, you can see there is a little bit of pink here. So I have been talking in Clubhouse about this shade. And by the way, this is what I have on my lips now. When you build it up more, you don't really see so much of that coolness. It has this really beautiful, like rich velvet look to the lips. So this is 37. But anyway, when I was speaking in Clubhouse, I was confusing this with another lipstick. And I mentioned that it wasn't that pink. There is pink. So this one here is one of the Le Rouge Deep Velvets. This is 38 Grenat Fumé. Just gonna put that right next to it. So you can see this one's gonna be more of a plum burgundy. And then the other bestseller here is 36 L'Interdit, which is my favorite. So I have to say, I really like these. And L'Interdit is more of that neutral red, and Grenet is going to be a cooler tone red. And let's take a look at a few others. I wanted to compare this to some of the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. So this one here is Velvet Ribbon. We're going to put that right here. So here's Velvet Ribbon, Rouge Grenet. So you can see the difference. This definitely has more of those fuchsia pinks, whereas the pink in here actually has a little bit more purple. It's also deeper in shade. It's more like burgundy with pink instead of red with pink. And this one here is Velvet Jazz. I'm gonna put this right down here at the bottom. So Velvet Jazz is here. And this one definitely has more plum in it, but you can see that this one also has some pinker tones to it when you blend that out as well. But it's almost like a deeper version of Rouge Grenet. So these are going to be the two closest. And then let's take a look at Copper Nude as well. Now, Copper Nude, this is in the Le Rouge line, which is the satin finish. So here's Copper Nude. You can see that this one is like more of a brown shade there's a little bit of like a tea rose mixed with brown, and you can see a little bit of the gold sparkle, but this is not going to be super sparkly. So a few shades from Chanel that I'd like to compare this to. This one here is from the Le Lion collection. This is 237 Beige Ardent. And you can see you've got the gold shimmer in here as well. And you can see how close those are. Those actually are pretty close. So this is the Givenchy Copper Nude, which is a little bit more brown. Beige Ardent is going to be a little bit rosier, but it's also, you know, it kind of looks like it might be a little cooler, but actually if you look at it up close and you look at the way the shades kind of blend out, it's actually going to be warmer because it has more yellowish tones in the base there. And then we also have the Or Beige from Chanel's holiday collection last year. Let's put that one here. So here's Or Beige, and you can see that this one is also going to be warmer in tone. It also has a little bit more shimmer, but they are going to be fairly close. It's just that this is going to be a warmer version of Copper Nude. And again, this one actually has a little bit more golden beige in it versus more of a cooler brown. And then also from that collection, we have 117 Or Cuivre, which is going to be much deeper here. Let's put this one down here at the bottom. Okay, and see, yeah, it really doesn't go. In the tube, they look much more similar, but this is really more of a, like a wine shade. And then I did want to also look at the sheer velvet from Givenchy. These are the new sheer velvets that come in the Dusty Rose in 37 Rouge Grenade. I meant to include this, I forgot. So let me put this right here at the top. So you can see how sheer the sheer velvet is. And let me just build that up. So here's the sheer velvet in Rouge Grenade. You can see it's a little bit more of a brick red. This is the Le Rouge Deep Velvet in Rouge Grenade. So you can see that it's actually going to be a little bit warmer in the sheer version than in the deep version. All right, and let's take a look at the highlighter. So the highlighter does come with a little puff, and this is how you're supposed to put it on. So you've got a little finger loop, and you decant the powder onto it, and you just kind of press it. I personally, I don't really like using the puffs, so I didn't use mine. But here is the highlighter. Let me decant a little bit more. Okay, so here it is. And you can see, here's some of the pink. Let's put that right here. And it is a little bit mixed with the gold there. The gold is more of a bronzy shade here. And then let me mix those together and then I'll give you a better look at that. So here are the two shades mixed together, which is how I wear it. Now you can see just from this amount of light reflection that this can be a very blinding highlight. And you can also put it on subtly. Look at how I have it on today. I have found that my favorite application method is to use a candlestick brush. This is the Chikuhodo KZ3. And I really like just kind of swirling the brush in here, right? Just swirl the lid, knock off any excess, and then just gently go on the cheek. And I just think it gives like the absolute best, glisten, but yet when you get up close, it's on so softly that you're not seeing any of that product. So I have to say this highlighter I think is really amazing because you can put it on softly and sheerly. I have a few applications where I've worn it and I've used a fan brush. The looser the fan brush, the lighter, the more subtle the application. And I mean, with this brush, this is the Chikuhodo Premium Fan Brush. You can see how soft and wispy this is. It's very airy. With a brush like this, you can get something subtle enough and sophisticated enough that you can wear it every day, at the office, whatever. It's not shimmery. And then you can use something a little bit firmer and denser. This is the detail brush from Sonia G. This will give you a very blingy highlight. So it's going to be much more blinding with something more dense like that. And then again, you can use something soft like this. This is Kazan Squirrel Hair. All right, so these are probably my closest. This is the Chantecaille Eclat Brillant, which I really, really love this one, but you can see that it is very blingy. It's very gold. It's more similar to the shade here on its own, but when you mix it with the pink, it makes it a little different. Now, this is another beautiful highlight. And then we also have the Chanel Pearl de Lumiere. And this one is, we'll put this one over here. See that there? You can see this one's going to be more bronze than these. So it's kind of a little bit closer to this one here, but it's a lot warmer. Let me get a better swatch because I feel like the angle it is on my arm is hard to see. So here's the Chanel. You can see it's going to be a lot deeper. Okay, so let's go ahead and swatch these eyeshadows. I'm gonna go in the rows. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this palette has a mix of finishes. This first shade here is a matte brown, followed by a soft gold. And you can really sheer this out. You could use it kind of as a topper, but it's more pigmented than a traditional topper. And this one here is my favorite shade, which is like an olive army green with a little bit of a brown base there and some gold shimmer. It is a beautiful, beautiful shade. Actually, these three here together are just stunning. Now for the next row, we're gonna take a look at these, and I have to say that some of these can be a little bit deceiving, like the shade in the middle here. So this next shade here, we really have more of a copper. This is the shade in the middle. You can see it's really more of a frosty pink that looks a bit white. You can see that it, depending how the light hits it, you can't really see it as well at times. So it definitely has that frosty appearance. And then this one here is a warm gold with a touch of rose in it. So it's almost a rose gold, but it's a little bit more gold than that. And then for the last column, I just want to show you this white one. Take a look at that because it looks white in the pan, right? It's not going to look white on the swatch. It's actually more of a duochrome shade. So this one here is more copper. You can see it's got more red in it versus more orange there. This is that white shade. And you can see it's got that pink reflect. So it actually looks pinker than the one that looks pink in the pan. And I mean, it's like a pink and white shift there. And then this last shade here, it's kind of like a rosy brown with mauve tones to it as well. So, you've got some cooler shades and some warmer shades, but I have to say overall, the palette is warm in tone. Like these here are all, well, most of these are pretty warm. You've got some cooler shades as well mixed in. It's, neutral leaning warm overall, but I would say that a lot of these warmer shades kind of stand out a bit more. So just something to note there. I have to say that these shades, although they are, pretty neutral for the most part, there's just like little nuances to these that are really beautiful. Like this army green one here, the nuances in there, these like pink and white shades here that are a little bit deceptive there. This one here with the mauve tones, they're just so beautiful. And that makes them a little bit different from others I have in my collection. So we'll take a look at a few comparisons. Now, first, this is the Blurry Green Quad from Chanel. We're going to take a look at this green one here. And let me just put that right here so you can kind of see. It's going to be a brighter, more forest green. You can see next to that green how brown the one in the Givenchy looks. And then I also wanted to take a look at the Chanel. This is the holiday quad from a couple years ago, 2 years ago maybe, Lumiere et Opulence. And this is one of my favorite eyeshadow quads, especially like holiday releases. But I just want to show you this color story because you do have some similarities. Like these two, like story-wise, this one here is fairly similar to that. Let me put those next to each other. You've got, you know, kind of that browner tone in there as well. So here's the Chanel. You can see it's a little bit more green, a little less olive. But, you know, you've got the brown and more of that like champagne shade, and, you know, the olive shade really isn't there, this like light olivey shade. But, you know, you do have similarities with that color story. So some of these like coppery shades here, just swatching these two here, from the Byredo Disco palette. So you can see color-wise, those are similar to these two shades here. You can see that the Byredo, though, they have a different finish. They're more of that creamy metallic. And then this one here is Tom Ford Desert Fox. And, you know, these are all mattes, so I'm not really going to compare those, but I am going to take the gold one from here. We're just going to put that, let's put that right here so you can kind of see. So you can see how similar that is to this shade. Now, story-wise, this does, well, let's just go ahead. We'll swatch these at the bottom. But story-wise, you know, it does remind me of some of these warmer shades in the palette. But again, these three are all mattes, and you can see that they are going to be warmer still than the Givenchy. So that's going to be it for my eyeshadow comparisons. But if you have any particular requests, let me know, and I would be happy to put them in an update video. And we're going to go ahead, I'm going to share with you the demos right now. So we've got some highlighter demos, and then we have the eyeshadow demos. So they're all labeled. Everything is timestamped down below, so feel free to skip around to what you're interested in. We're going to start off with the highlighters, and then we'll move into the eyeshadows, and then I'll see you at the end for just some quick final thoughts. All right, we're gonna try the Givenchy Holiday Highlighter. So it comes in the same packaging as the loose powder blushes, almost. Let me show you. So the loose color blushes, they got the mirror top also. This has a black Givenchy logo and gold trim, whereas this has black, and then it'll have a color coordinated trim for the blush shade. So that's gonna be really the only difference. But here you get the little puff, and you get this also with the blushes. And then you've got a little tag. So it says Givenchy here. So this is the little pull part. So you just pull this off, and then it's a little pull tag to open the powder. So this is the highlighter palette. And I think having this in a set of 4, you know, you can really kind of separate these. You know, they're really pretty. So let's decant some of these. So when I decant it, you can see I kind of mixed mine a little bit, but look at that pearly shimmer in there. It's beautiful. So you've got this copper and gold and rosy pink in there, and possibly even a little bit of silver shimmer in the pink. It's hard to tell. So let's apply a little bit of this right here to the cheeks. So we're gonna use the Sonia G Detail Brush from the Lotus set. And just gonna get a little bit, I'm kind of mixing them all together, but I don't want that much product. So I'm gonna take this and just dab it on my cloth a little bit to knock some of that off. And you can even use the lid here as a mirror, which I do often. And look how lightly, like I'm not even bending the bristles to put that on. Look at that. That gives you a sheen for sure. All right, so without getting more product, I'm gonna put a little bit more on this side here. You can see I didn't have quite as much product left anymore, but it's still enough to give you that blingy holiday golden vibe. One of the things I like about this is, even though it's a gold highlighter, having that pink in there kind of makes a little bit of a difference for me, because gold can sometimes be a little bit too warm, too gold on my skin. I think the pink makes a difference. Now this side is a little vibrant for me for today. So what I'm gonna do is blend that out a little bit. So I'm gonna take this Detail Pro brush or Detail brush and just wiped it off on my cloth, and I'm just gonna kind of feather that out just a little bit. And wiping on my cloth periodically. I lost an eyelash. You know, that did diffuse a little bit, but not a ton. This really kind of stays put. I'm going to take my blush brush from today. This is the Chantecaille 4. You can see it's not really a buffing brush, but I'm just going to kind of blend a little bit of whatever blush residues on there with the highlight to tone it down just a touch. And you can see I still have a nice highlight there. Right, and let me show you from a distance. So here's the highlight from a distance. You can see the way it hits the light. It definitely gives you that glow, that holiday feel when the light hits it. But when you're looking straight on, it looks way more subtle. So, you know, I think if I put this on with a different kind of brush, we can get this even more subtle that you could use it every day. For me, this is going to be like more of a blingy night out the way it is applied. But I'm also like, I don't go for the super vibrant highlighters. This can definitely be super vibrant. We'll have to play with it more to see how subtle it can be. But I definitely think that I could get this to where I wear it like on a daily basis if I use something a little bit looser like this brush. This is the, I forget, it's the premium series from Kyoto, I think. And yeah, so you can see it's a very wispy fan brush. This would apply it very softly. Another fan brush, you know, that will also, but the wispier it is, the softer, more subtle the application. You can see how soft and wispy this one is. It's a very airy fan brush. So I think this highlighter is going to be a very buildable, very versatile product, but we're going to play with it some more. I also think it'll be really pretty on the eyes. All right, so we're gonna go in with the Givenchy highlighter. I still have a little residual stuff in here from yesterday. I'm gonna take this Chantecaille premium fan brush and just get a little bit of that on there. And you can see there's very little. You can actually see it on the brush. So let's see what this will look like. Yeah, you can see it. I wasn't even sure if I had enough to see, but you can definitely see that gleam, that glisten. That's going to be a little bit more subtle today, but again, you still just get that beaming light when it hits you just right, which I think is really pretty. And the fact that when you put it on this lightly, it's not always that noticeable. I think this will probably be the way that I wear it. There we go. So I just want to share with you a more subtle application. Let me show you from a distance. All right, so here it is. You see the highlight? So as you can see here, I am applying the highlight with the Chantecaille 3 brush, and this is a candle flame shape brush, candlestick, and I think this gives the most beautiful highlight application. It's still subtle and it sweeps beautifully across. You know, I have to say, I think this is my favorite highlighter application. We're going to take a look at the new Givenchy holiday palette. This is number 907. It is limited edition and I think it looks really pretty. So we're just going to do a light soft look today and let's get started. I have to say I'm really curious about this shade here. You can see that it's kind of got those olive greens and browns and golden tones to it. So I'm taking the Blender Pro from Sonia G. I'm going to go into that and I'm just going to get like a tiny bit on there. And we're going to put this in the crease. I don't have any primer on today. We're just going to see how it performs on bare skin. And my eyelids, you know, normally they're like normal, not dry, not oily. Today they're slightly oily, but nothing major. All right, so there's that shade. You can see like a little bit of sparkle. You can see some green and some brown. It's really more of that like army green. I think it's very pretty. We'll have to see that in a larger swatch as well, but very pretty so far. And then we're gonna go into this shade here. This one's really pretty as well. This is the Builder Pro from Sonia G. And I'm gonna put this on the outer corner. To say I'm really, these shades, they look more, you know, like classic neutrals in the original photos that I saw, but they're really neutrals with a twist. they all have subtle nuances of other shades in them, make them a little bit different. So there's that shade, and we're gonna finish it off by going into this middle shade here, which is like a soft ivory pink. Look at that. Let me just tap off a little excess. I'm gonna put this here. Okay, so this shade is Frosty. So get a little bit more of that. I'm gonna kind of go over this, and then I'm gonna add a little bit more of that because this is a little bit frostier than I was expecting. So yeah, that's just a little too frosty for me. So I'm gonna go back into this shade, and I'm going to, again, work from this side over and just kind of mix that over a little bit more. So there it is. We're gonna go into this shade here, this more of a champagne gold. It's really like a light pale gold. We're just gonna tap a little bit of this right here in the center. And that's gonna be it for that. And then let's just add a little bit of something to the lower lash line. I'm just gonna use the tip of the Builder Pro here, and we're gonna go in with this shade. So just gonna get a tiny bit of this on the tip and put this right down below. Okay, wiped off the brush. I'm gonna get a little bit of that pink again, and just going to dab this in the inner corner specifically and drag it just a little bit on the lower lash line as well. All right, so I'm gonna finish this off with some brown eyeliner. I could have also used this powder here, or even the one I used for the crease, but you know what? I just feel like using a pencil today. So I'm gonna do that and finish the mascara. See you in a second from a distance, and let me know what you think of this one. So this is the final look from a distance. So on the cheeks, I have the Tom Ford Blush Duo in 04, Cherry Blaze. And then the eyes is the Givenchy Holiday Palette 907. And on the lips, I have a very light coating. Like, this is a light coating. I just kind of dabbed it on the lips. This is 501 Copper Nude from the Givenchy Holiday Collection. So you can see it's in the special limited edition packaging. And this is one of the Le Rouge lipsticks. You can see it's got some gold sparkle in there. And this is it. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks. Okay, so we're ready to try out look number 2 here. And I have to say, every time I look at this palette, you know, in person, it's just so much prettier, and I get new ideas every time. So it makes it hard to decide what to do. But I think today, let's go for more of a medium look. We're gonna go into this golden copper shade. This is the Refer 16, and I have the Viseart eye primer on. Now, when I didn't use primer in look 1, absolutely no issues. It lasted all day, just wiping off the brush a little bit. I have plenty of pigment here. And yeah, I just want to see how it works with and without primer, but so far, no difference. You know what? I kind of changed what I want to do again. So we're going to go into this really deep brown, very, very lightly. I'm going to add a little bit of this on top of the crease as well. So I'm just going to stamp it here first, and then I'm going to wipe the brush off first and then spread it out. I think I'm going to go with a lighter look, actually, because there are a couple shades here that I just really want to play with today. So just kind of adding a little bit more depth to that corner without actually darkening the entire outer corner. So I actually want to play with these 2 shades here. So I am going in with the Worker 2 from Sonia G into this one here. And I'm just kind of put this on. Look at that beautiful shade. There is some fallout from this shade. It might be my application method, but just so you know. All right, so I didn't get fallout on that eye, so it's probably just the fact that I didn't really tap off my brush very well. So yeah, that's probably it. Okay, next I'm gonna go into the shade next to it, the one that looks white, but actually has like this pink sparkle to it. So we're gonna put this here. Yeah, it's more of like a duochrome. Look at that shift. And just swiping that over where they meet. So there it is. You can see that that one really has more of a pink look to it. In the pan, it looks white. And then when you have the light hit a certain way, you can see some like pink sparkles. But on the eye, it's really much more pink. And it's kind of like a pink and gold shift, like a white gold. I'm gonna warm this up just a touch with this brighter gold here. And just going to kind of put this kind of where they overlap and a little bit more onto the pink. I think the shade that I used here was a little bit too deep. This one's a little bit lighter, so it aids in the transition, in my opinion. Right, and then for liner, I'm using the T05 from Isom. I'm gonna go into this green, brown, gold shade. And I'm just going to stamp this, and I'm using it dry. Just going to put this on the lash line. And what's left on the brush is going on the lower lash line. I don't want a lot of shadow down there. I'm just going to take the side of this into the gold and just add like a tiny, tiny dab of this right here in the inner corner. All right, so this is my final look, and I'm going to add some mascara. I'll see you in a second. So this is the final eye look from a distance. Let me know what you guys think of this one. All right, so today, this is one of the La Bouche Rouge brushes. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's the like crease style brush. We're gonna go into this deep brown here, just very, very lightly, and just knocking off any excess. I'm gonna first dab it kind of on the outer corner here, and then take the residual into the crease. And I don't have any primer or anything on today. So you just like a touch of shadow there. Next, I'm taking the Synergy Worker Pro into the gold right here. It's more of like a coppery gold. I'll put this right here. Now we're gonna go into this lighter like champagne-y gold. And I'm gonna put this kind of right here. See, I'm going over this. All right, next I'm gonna go into the gold here on the top, and we're gonna put this on the inner portion here. This one's a little bit lighter and more sheer. I really like using it on the inner corner, and you can see I'm kind of getting whatever excess right there in the inner corner portion. All right, going back to the crease brush, no shadow, just kind of going over this. Okay, and I think I'm just gonna take another dab of the dark brown, and just, I dabbed my brush on my cloth. I'm just darkening this just a touch right there on the edge. And then I'm gonna go into this gold for the lower lash line, and this is the Smudger 2 from Sonia G. And I wipe that off. I'm gonna go into the top left or top right shade, which is that golden green brown shade that I love. And I'm just gonna kind of go over this for the outer half of the lower lash line. And for eyeliner, I'm going to take the Chanel, this is one of the Celia, and this is Gris Graphite, or Graphite, number 42, and it's more of a shimmery charcoal. All right, so this is the eye look up close. I'll finish my makeup, I'll see you in a sec. And this is the final look from a distance. I have the Tom Ford Sun Drunk Blush on, both shades mixed. The Givenchy highlighter. This is the 37 Rouge Grenier just as a stain. And that's it. Everything else. All right, so today we're going to go with a really simple look, and we're going to use the majority of a color on its own. First, we're going to start off with a crease, and I'm going to just use a little bit of this light gold. This one is very sheer light, so it's really just going to give me a little bit of gold sparkle and just a touch of gold. I'm going to put that in the crease. So I'm using the Refer 15 brush. And I'm not afraid to be messy with this because, again, it's very light. It's giving more of that sparkle. I'm going to bring it up to the brow. All right, so now I'm going to get just a little bit more of the gold, the same brush, tap that off, and get a touch of this dark brown, tap it off, and put that in the crease. But this time I'm being a little bit less messy. You can see I'm going in very, very lightly. The bristles aren't really moving too much. Then I'm going to go in with the soft shader from Sonia G into this olive brown gold, you know, beautiful mixture. And I'm starting almost at the inner corner. This is going all over the lid. Look at that shade. I absolutely love it. So I'm just taking that crease brush again, no additional shadow, but just very gently cleaning up a little. Going back with the soft shader, I'm gonna get a little bit of this gold, but then after that, I'm gonna go into the white shade at the bottom that looks a little pink. So I'm just gonna add this right here to that inner portion. Now I'm taking the Refer 03. I'm gonna go into this white shade that it looks white, but it's pink. This is like a duochrome shade. Just gonna add this to the inner corner here. Look at the difference. For the lower lash line, I'm gonna go back into the main lid shade here, and using this brush, just gonna put a little bit of this here. Now I'm gonna take the Chantecaille. This is the brightening eye cudgel in Nude. They now have a black one that came out for the fall collection. I'm just putting this on the lower waterline here. All right, and then for the upper lash line, we're gonna try one of the new Sisley. This is the Phyto Kohl Star waterproof liners. They came out with 6 new matte shades. So I picked up number 3, Matte Jungle. Ooh, super creamy. This is what it looks like. And we're gonna, here, I'll make that a little bit more even. There we go. So I'm gonna put this one on the upper lash line. All right, so I'm just taking the 03 and just very softly blurring that. All right, and this is the eye look up close. Gonna finish my makeup. I'll see you in a second. So here is the final look from a distance. On the cheeks, I have the Givenchy Prisma Libra blush in number 2, Taffetas Rose, or Taffetas Rose. And that's just lightly put on. And then I have the highlighter from the holiday collection put on using the KZ03, which is like a candlestick shape brush. and I swirled it in there, tapped off the excess, and just used the side to go gently across it, and it is perfect. I absolutely love the way this looks. You know, straight on, you don't really see it, and then it catches the light. So it's put on lightly enough that you actually don't see any color from the highlight. It just has this luminous glow. And yeah, I think this is going to be my favorite brush style to use with the loose powder highlighters. So really, really nice. And on the lips, I have the Rouge Grenade lipstick, which from the holiday collection, which is one of the Le Rouge Deep Velvets. And I paired it with my favorite red lip liner, Brun Carmen number 188 from Chanel. And then the foundation is the mix of the Clé de Peau Radiant Natural and Radiant Matte Foundation in I-10. I have the Tom Ford Concealer on in 0N0, which is Blanc. And I think that's everything. Jones Road Brow Pencil and Ash. All right, so overall, I have to say that I really love this collection. Now, I realized that I forgot to give price points for everything. The eyeshadow palette is $65 US. The highlighter is $46, and the lipsticks are $38 US. So one of the things I like about Givenchy is even with their holiday pricing and packaging and so forth, they don't raise the price for that. You know, it's the same price as one of their items in the regular line. You know, the lipsticks are always $38, the eyeshadow palettes are always $65. So, I mean, not that we have special imprinting on that or anything, but yeah, just something to note. And one thing I forgot to mention, I'm not sure where I put them, but these slots here, there are two brushes that, maybe these are them. Yeah, so you've got two little brushes that come together and you can build them up to make a full dual-ended brush. Oops, what am I doing today? So you just snap those together and you have a dual-ended brush. So you've got the flat part and the fluffy part, and then you can just separate them and they get stored in that compartment. And you do have a mirror at the top here. So overall, I have to say that this is a fantastic holiday collection. I think it is wonderful. If you're looking for a standout piece, you know, honestly, I really love all of these pieces, but the two things that are going to be the most unique would be this highlight. You know, this is really a standout in my opinion. And, you know, I think the color is, you know, it works really well for a wide variety of people. Packaging is great. And again, if you haven't been able to try the Prisma Libra blushes, the loose powder blushes, this is a great way to kind of see if you even like that style of product. And then the limited edition lipstick in Copper Nude would be the other one. I think this is a really beautiful shade. Now, we did go through the lipstick comparisons. It's fairly close to Or Beige and Beige Ardent. I think it's, you know, it's a little different from both of them. So for me, you know, I think I actually prefer this shade over those Chanel ones because these are a little bit warmer on my lips. And I really like the way it wears down. So those would be in my opinion, the top two sort of, you know, most unique pieces. But I really like the whole thing. I'm very happy that I picked up this eyeshadow palette. All 9 of these shades perform very, very well. This one here in the middle is a little bit frostier than I thought it was going to be. You know, it was a little deceptive, the white and the pink one. But I really, really like the way they perform. I don't need to use primer. I tested these with and without primer, as well as using different primers. They all lasted all day without any creasing. So, you know, you don't have to use a primer. There is a little bit of fallout that I got, but part of that might be because I'm really making a concerted effort to not tap my brushes so that I don't, you know, damage the ferrule or disturb the glue inside. So I'm like tapping on my hand so it doesn't dislodge as much product. So that's part of the reason. Probably it might be the whole reason, I'm not really sure. But overall, I have to say that I really love these shadows, and my favorite is still going to be this shade here, this kind of like green brown gold shade. I think is stunning. I love the Rouge Grenet lipstick as well. Again, it is a permanent shade, so you may already have it, or if you are, you know, trying to be conscientious about what you pick up and what you don't, technically you would be able to get that shade in the red packaging, you know, on sale at some point. So just a few little thoughts on the collection, but overall, I think everything is fantastic. This box for the eyeshadow palette, it does tell you the different finishes. So we've got soft mattes are going to be the, actually shade 1, 2, 7, and 9 are your soft mattes. And then the S's are satin. And then we have the one like kind of duochrome shade, which is pearly. So those are those, and they're supposed to have 12-hour wear, crease proof. And I have to say mine have held up longer than 12 hours with no creasing. So I really like it. Now, this is a limited edition palette, so it won't be around, you know, super long. So if you're interested in it, I wouldn't wait. It's made in Italy, and let me just see what the expiration is on here. We've got 6 months, just like Dior shadows. And I have to say, mine have lasted longer than this so far. So, yeah. But overall, an absolutely fantastic holiday collection. Again, I ordered from Amber at Saks New York City. Her information is down below in the description box. It's also available at Saks.com. The links are down below in the description box as well, and it will be coming out to other retailers in the future. So I hope this was helpful. Again, please let me know if you have any other comparison requests. We'll add them to an update video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Stay safe and healthy.